everybody, this is Els coming from Famous Crafty Corner, and today we're going to do this. Now this is just a prototype. I haven't even written down any measurements on this one yet, so we're going to kind of work this one as we go. Let me show you what I've got here though. This is designed to be put onto a page in a journal, and then it opens and it flips down, and you have all of this journaling space, and then you have a nice big pocket here to put in a tag or a journaling card or something like that. So we're going to work this out. And figure out what we're going to do with it. All right. So I'm going to get out some supplies, and we're going to get started on this. I'll be right back. All right. So here's what I know so far. We're going to need to cut a couple of pieces of paper. And the first one is going to be 6 by 4. So let's go ahead and let's cut our 4. And then the second one is also going to be 4. So we'll cut that one as well. All right, then the first one is going to be 6 inches. And the second one is going to be 5.5 inches. This makes perfect sense, right? Okay. Now we're going to hold on to those because we're going to need to punch a circle later. Okay, so far we need a sheet of cardstock, 8.5 by 11, and paper trimmer. Next, we're going to need some scoring tools. So I'm going to get some scoring tools out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so on the smaller of the two, the one that is 4 by 5.5, we're going to score this at 2 1/4 and at 5. Okay, 2 1/4 and 5. And then on the longer one, we're going to score that one at 2 3/4 and 5.5. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's get the longer one. That's our 6-inch one. And we're going to score this one at 2 3/4 and then at 5.5. Okay. So now we have our 2 pieces. I'm going to put the scoreboard away. We're going to do some folding, and we'll figure out the rest of this. I'll be right back. All right, so these little tabs are going to create our pocket. So let's go ahead and fold those. And then those are going to do, this to create our pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and put a finger pull in here just so we know what we're working with. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold this one up. And this one. And I'm going to fold these, you know, both directions. And the reason I'm folding them is just so I have the line here. So I'm going to ink. So I'm going to ink here and here and here. I don't want to ink there because that's writing space, you know? You don't want ink on the writing space. And then this one, I'm going to ink this part across this part and around. This is just so I can see a little better. All right. So first things first is let's get this sucker attached. Glue on the little flap. Don't use tape. Tape doesn't dry. All right, and then I'm gonna put this in the crease. Line up the top and the bottom. Because we want that to be able to fold. Okay. Then we're going to put glue on this side. And we're going to bring this over. Glue at the bottom. Let's make sure we get this nice and straight. And then glue the bottom. Which, if I was doing this like my regular tutorial, I would have told you to do before. But we're working. It's a creative process. All right. So this one might be a little bit long. If it is, just shave a piece off. I just don't like the way it fits, so I'm going to shave it just a little. A little. Now let's see. Much better. Okay. I want to round these corners because I want to soften this up a little bit. And then I'm going to ink this because this is actually my front cover for this little piece. And I'm going to do this one. Again, I'm not inking on the inside because I don't want to put an ink line directly across where, you know, I expect people to write. Now, obviously, if you're putting this on the page and you want your tag to come out on this side, you would just do this opposite, you know, flip it this way, put your finger pull here and do it, okay? So it's personal preference. All right, so now that I have that all glued up and the score lines work, now we're going to talk about mats because I want it to look pretty, you know? So I'm going to get out my ruler. I'm going to measure. I'm going to glue this down to something so I don't need to worry about the back. What I do need to worry about is these flaps. And I have a 2 1/4 inch flap by 4. So, mats. You guys think I'm kidding when I say that I put this all on a guest check? All right, so I have 2 1/4. Yeah, 2 1/4. So I want a piece that is 2 by 3 3/4. And then I want a piece that is 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. And then I'm going to put a tag in here, and I can use the whole pocket width because I have those gussets. So we're looking at 2.5 by 3 3/4. And that's my tag. And if I go 3 3/4, it just sits like right there. So I would probably do 4. Okay? So I'm going to get out some paper and my trimmer, and we're going to cover this, okay? So I'll be right back. So I have some paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the tag first, and that is 4 inches by 2.5. And I have what's left of the piece of paper that we used to cut this. So there's our 4, 2.5, and I'm just going to check for fit. Yep, and it comes out a little bit, so that's good. All right, so that's my tag. And then I have to cut my pieces for this. So for my top here, we already determined that that was 2 inches by 3 3/4. Two. And then I have 2 rounded corners. So let me round those. This should mount here very nicely. Okay, so I have that piece. Now the next piece, which is the, oops, let me get this out of here, Laura. The piece that goes down here is 2.5 by 3 3/4. So let's get a piece that is 2.5. Three 3/4. There. I don't have any rounded edges on this one. Let's get that put away. This is a 2.5, right? Okay. Sorry about the arm. So let me grab this. This is my 2.5 60-degree jig. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this. There we go. So I have a tag, and I will round the corners on this as well. Not quite as dramatically, but I will round them. And I'll figure out what I'm going to do with it later. All right, so that's where we're at so far. So I'm going to go ink everything. I'm going to ink my tag, I'm going to ink my pieces, and I'll be back and we'll put this together. I'll be right back. Alrighty. All right, so I got everything inked, so I'm going to go ahead and start gluing stuff down. So this is going to go on here. And then this is going to go down here. Probably should have done this the other way, you know, but I didn't, so what the heck. All right. I'll live with it now. Just a prototype anyway, right? All right, so now I'm going to put this on here. Press that down. The closure on it. Excuse me, where's the original? Here it is. So for the original, what I did is I cut a circle, and then I just kind of cut it in half, and glued 2 circles together, you know, 2 half circles together, and then put them on here, and I think that's what we're going to do with this one. So let's get a circle punch. Here we go. So I'm going to cut this one, and then I want it to stand out a little bit, so I think I'll use a piece of this. All right, so I'm going to glue these together for strength. And then a little ink. And then I'm going to cut these. All right. And then I'm going to kind of judge where it needs to be. And I think it needs to be right like at the edge of the paper there. So I'm going to go ahead, put a little glue on there. And I'm going to put that right at the edge of my mat. And just hold it while it dries. So I'm going to put a clamp on this and let it dry, and then when I come back, we're going to work on the tag, okay? I'll be right back. All right. So I want to bring more of the paper into this, but I don't want to like cover the tag. So what I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to cut a second tag because this one is really kind of thin. So I'm going to glue this tag down to this, and then I'll cut it out. Okay, let's start with that. I could have just cut this out of, a file folder or something. Something that had, a little bit stronger base, but I wanted it to match. All right, so now I've done that. Now I have my double thick tag. And I want to bring more of that base piece of this, and I'm going to cut a piece that is 2.5 inches because that is the width of my tag, and then about 2 inches. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold that in half. And I'm going to glue this down on here. But first, ink the long edges, because once I get it glued down, I'm not going to be able to do that. Glue. And then glue. Fold it over and down. But now, Els, you can't see. Yes, I can. I'm just going to take my bone folder, and I'm just going to press right up against that tag, and it's going to show me right where it is. So then I can cut that off. See how that works? Woo! Okay. It's not perfectly straight, but it'll work. Alright, and then tag. So, you know, I want it to be a tag. So now I'm going to poke a hole here. And I'm going to ink this. And then we're going to put an eyelet in here. So I'm going to get stuff out of the way, put stuff away. I'll be right back. We're going to put the eyelet in, and then we're going to take a look at this thing all done and see how that looks. I will be right back. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put this tag together. And I decided to go with kind of a gray color. So I got out my gray. I'm going to put my gray one in here. Ha ha ha. All right, let me get this in here. It's tight. Okay. I got it. It's in there. And I'm going to use a backer on this. And then we're going to go ahead and cinch that on. There we go. And I have some very pale silvery gray seam binding. I'm going to put through here. There. So now we have that on there. Let's go ahead and bring our piece back over. Oh yeah, that holds it nice. And it blends well with the other paper. And it's just a little piece of it there. Okay. So, we still have to mat this and this and this with writing paper, or we can just leave it. We don't have to mat it, okay? And we can just write on this. That's a personal choice. You could put some writing paper here. But I'm going to go ahead and take my little tag and put that in. And then I can close this up. Look at that. From this. Not too shabby, huh? And I can tuck this into a corner tuck or a pocket. I can glue it down in the book if I want to. If I'm going to put this in a pocket, though, I'm going to mat this back piece. And to mat the back piece, just because I always make sure that measurement is there, this is quarters by 2.5. So we'll put that on there. Mats. This one's going to be for the back. One piece of 3 3/4 by 2.5. Okay, so those will, you know, these are all going to be in a good order in the description. But that's it. That's all I got. You know, and then you can put whatever decorations and stuff you want on here. You know, on this, whatever you want it to be. That's it. That's all I have. Listen, until I see you again, do me a favor. Hit the button and subscribe. Make a fat old lady happy. Look, technically I'm old. And I am fat. So, but go ahead and make a fat old lady happy. And what else? Check out the community tab here on the YouTube channel, or scoot on over to the Facebook group. There's a link to that in the description below. Come on over and check it out. I have a fantastic and supportive, wonderful, creative, crafty group of people over there that would be more than happy to, you know, take a look at everything that you do and tell you how absolutely wonderful you are. And until the next time, stay well, my friends. Bye-bye.
Bye.